the Serenity Solutions podcast number 41. So we are on season 3 now. I'm going to do 20 podcasts per season, so switching over to season 3 now. And today I'm going to talk about friendships. I'm reading the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins slowly as I have time a little bit before bed, generally 2 pages, and then I'm ready to go to sleep. Or days like today where I get a little bit of time on a Saturday to read. And this weekend I'm actually forcing myself to do things like that because I've just been working way too hard lately, and I need to be careful with that. So I really enjoy doing these podcasts though, and I feel like I get a lot out when I do complete them, and I think I'm hoping that it helps other people and maybe sparks ideas. Maybe doesn't teach you a lot of things, but maybe it sparks an idea for you so that you can reflect on that as well. And I'm really enjoying this book. And what I've read recently, I'm on chapter 13. So the last chapter I read was about friendships. Let's see what it's called. So why some friendships naturally fade. But I read the last part of the chapter particularly about letting, it's let them not text back, and then let you, so it's let me create, so what it's talking about is not letting that, friends can have things going on in their life. They might be taking care of a parent. They might be going through a really tough time. They might not be talking to anybody. They might just not, they just need to be at home on their own, and they don't have time. Maybe their career's taking over, those kind of things. And I think that it's important to know that when you're feeling rejected by your friends, that not to take it personally. So let them not text back, let them make new friends, let them do their thing, and then let you, which she talks about let me in the book, is that let me accept things and focus on my own life, and then and also let me make new friends. So this chapter is interesting because I do a lot of friendship groups at school, so elementary age students, K to 5, and I've taught high school, taught middle school, or a school counselor, practicum at middle school out in BC, and then been in elementary schools for about over 10 years now. So, and as a counselor, I do run friendship groups, and I've run them for over 10 years now because I started those early in my career because when I learned from my mentor, my one mentor really encouraged friendship groups and social groups. And so I do run several each year, 3 times a year. Usually at this time of year, I start my friendship groups next week. And then I do them till Christmas break, and then I start again in January and go till a March break-ish, and then I start another round when I get back from March break till the end of June. So I do a lot of friendship skills with little kids, and I also learn a lot about adult friendships from the co-workers in my schools, and of course myself, my own life, watching people around me, staying in touch with my friends, those experiences, and then family members and watching them make new friends or still see their old ones. And I think that it's important to recognize that it's not personal, because what Mel Robbins talks about in her book is if you're in elementary school, you're in the same class with, we were when growing up, we stuck with the same class each year and same kind of people. We did the same things. And it says in this book that it takes about 200 hours to form a friendship. So you need 200 hours to hang out with somebody to form that friendship in order to like actually be friends is what she's saying. I mean, I think some people can connect quicker, and it's about connecting, and there's a few things about the energy. Energy is an important part of friendship, like whether you connect or not. Proximity is the other one, and then there was one more thing that she was talking about in here. Like, so proximity, whether you live close, like she was talking about how she got really jealous because she encouraged her best friends to move to town, and then they actually took over their spot in the big friendship group that they were forming, and so that was really hard. And often I do tell my students that, you know, this is something, you know, it's starting in grade 1, it's starting in grade 2 or 3, but it's going to be something you're going to be dealing with until you're old. Like, it doesn't stop. Like, there's groups of 3s I often see. Sorry. I set that alarm to remind myself that I need to start this by then. And that's one of the ways I keep myself organized, is setting alarms, and Post-it notes are big. So it's a groups of 3s. I often see groups of 3 girls that are struggling at times. Sometimes boys, though, too. Boys tend to deal with things differently, I find, in schools. Yeah, I have to be careful with that. And about how I phrase that, but it tends to be more females that I see for friendship concerns that are like in a tripod of kids, and they're feeling left out because Sally is hanging out with Susie too much and not hanging around with Jillian or whatever. And I'm just using fake names, but that's what I find since I started as a school counselor. Like, that is a big thing that happens more with females, but and the boys, like, I often have groups that mix boys and girls. I have groups that, like, so I see everybody and include everybody, of course, but they tend to like physically fight each other more so when they're having problems with their friends and get really mad, and then they're okay like the next day kind of thing. Whereas girls, in my experience, they hold grudges, and they will be best friends again the next day, but like it just takes them a little bit more understanding and time and talking things out. And whereas the boys will punch each other and then they're like best friends again, and it's strange. But anyways, that's just the experiences I've had. But I also am I'm the Soji representative at my schools, and so I recognize, and that's why I'm trying to be careful of what I'm saying, but that we include everybody, and some people don't believe that it's about gender and that kind of thing. And but as an experienced school counselor, I do see those differences, so that's all that I'm saying. Anyways, back to the let them theory and adult friendships. So adult friendships, so elementary, you're together all the time, you're going to the same class, you're doing the same thing, you might be at the same soccer game because you have soccer on the weekends together. You're just like spending so much time together. And then like she talks about college and university, where you live with each other, you become roommates, you're together like a good majority of the time, and then all of a sudden you disperse and people are like, oh no, Jilly is not my friend anymore, or Johnny's not around anymore, and like they must not like me anymore. Like what's wrong? Why are they hanging out with Jimmy now? And not including me, right? Including me is a thing that comes up all the time in my career as a counselor. And in my experiences, they are like, I just don't feel like they're like I fit in, or they're they're talking about me behind my back, that kind of thing. And that stuff also goes until we're seniors, especially in groups of 3, because, if Susie and Sally have more time to spend together, then Jillian isn't going to be able to fit in to all of their things because Jillian might be working all the time, or Jillian might need to take care of their parents or whatever. This is grown up kids now. But she talks about this key dispersal thing after university's over and everybody goes in their opposite directions, or maybe they didn't even go to university at all, but still opposite directions. Some people might be having kids. Some may have decided not to have kids. Some might have, be older. She also talks about how you don't always become best friends with your coworkers. There is that proximity thing that helps with making friendships, but your energies might not match. Or the other thing was like different lifestyles, like different ages. Like someone might be starting university and someone might be close to retirement, and so they don't really have a lot to talk about and connect on. I personally find that I like to have different friendships of all ages because I can learn a lot from wise souls, like older people, and I can also learn from younger friends as well. And I enjoy having a variety, but like I also am a counselor, so I like to help with things and different dynamics, and social dynamics is my thing. But anyways, it's kind of cool to watch because I'm always reminded of childhood and my own childhood because I work with little kids all the time, and I've done so for many years now, and I can see the similarities of working with those kids, trying to help those kids, and then seeing the similarities in my own life. And I think I posted something, it was a story this week about how I can't handle the drama that people tend to enjoy because I do it for a living. I listen to drama for a living, and not that everybody's things is drama, but it just like it is conflict, and then I have to help sort them out, right? So it's not so fun for me to listen to drama on my free time when I have that free time. So I tend to spend a lot of time alone, and I tend to spend a lot of time with animals because they can't talk. And there's probably a reason for that, that I need to recharge for one thing, because it is a tough job to listen to people's problems all the time. But I enjoy it. It's just like when it comes into your personal life too, it's like, no thanks, I'm done, I'm out, thank you. I just want to have good times and happy times, and be around people who are supportive and support my growth and mindset. And I don't need anybody draining my energy or a lot of drama, basically, because it just doesn't help me. Of course, I'm a good friend, I'm a good daughter, good sister, good, whatever. And pet parent, which takes a lot of my energy too. Worrying and physically hiking every day, and just commitment that they have. And multiple businesses and full-time job, and there's a lot going on. And so I love when people understand that, and they don't like, oh, you didn't text me back, or you can't come out, or whatever it is. Like, it's nice if people understand that life is busy. And I think for me, I understand other people are busy. Everybody tends to be, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people tend to be busy these days because a lot of people are trying to make it in this world and try and pay the bills and stuff, and that takes time, right? Second job, third job, fourth job, maybe. And then families, people that have families keep busy. But the one thing I do like to remind people of it, even if you don't have kids, there's always things to keep yourself busy. And so when you don't have children, you do find other ways to keep busy. So it's not just people with kids, because I do often hear being a mom or being a parent or whatever is tough. But I think that when you don't have children, you also find ways to keep your life busy, and you maybe not have that extra support financially as well. So you need to find other ways to make that and make ends meet and stuff. So there's definitely other ways to keep busy. And for me, I love learning. So that's one thing. I am always learning new things, taking new courses. And I have always talked to random people since I was a little kid. But again, I talked to older people. I visited people with pets. I would sit with them and listen to them and learn from them. And then I also would help little kids and babysit all the time. And so, or have people my own age. And those are my friends that I see at school and stuff. So now I'm also able to make friends as an adult because I do talk to people and ask questions and that kind of thing. But I definitely see I have this book at school called The 10 Ways to Make Friends or something. And when kids are struggling with that, I go over it with them and remind them. And it's like saying hi, asking to play, making sure that you say, oh, we should do this again sometime, and saying actually the date, like next Friday at 1:00 we should play again, or next Friday at 3:00 we should meet at the gym, or whatever it is. Giving that time frame is helpful rather than just saying this was fun, we should do it again, right? Because I'm leaving it open and vague. But yeah, I'm reflecting on the similarities between growing up as a child and friendships then, and then reading Mel's book, of course, is bringing this up. And so it's just cool to reflect on that and the way that I see it in life, and then dealing with my own relationships and listening to, other people that I'm close with and stuff, and how their relationships work. It's also interesting, and probably because I love psychology and people and studying people's minds and analyzing things. But I do think that this let them theory really helps with coworkers. It helps with family members, and it helps with friendships, because it is good to be able to understand that people might have things to do, and you do too. So let them do whatever they're doing, and then let you make new friends. One of the things that I need to remind kids of when I'm working with them is if Sally and Jimmy don't want to play, go and ask George to play, or Mika, or whatever, right? Because you also want to have a backup friend for when the other friend's not there that day. Because a lot of times kids have one friend at school, which I totally understand. I was like that growing up too. But if that friend's away, it's devastating for them, and some of them don't even want to come to school if their friend is away, because it's awkward and they have to find a new friend, or they walk around alone, or whatever. So I think it's really important to make those other friends as well. And the thing that comes up with that is that the being left out thing, and then they get jealous of each other's new friends. But that is also an adult thing too. So it's really cool to see we are doing important work when we're helping these kids with self-regulation, and friendships. School counselors, it's an amazing job, and it's a rewarding job to be able to foster those friendships, and to remind kids it's okay if they don't want to play, go find someone else. But also what I talk with kids a lot, because I do zones of regulation, self-reg, strategies, calming strategies. I do a lot of in the moment teaching with board games and or activities, and they're like, hey, it's my turn, or they hit each other, or whatever happens. Then I'm in the moment teaching and remind them, to be kind to each other and take turns, and And so that's cool too. But like, it's so interesting to see, because especially if you go out and you watch people when they're drinking and stuff, because the behaviors that happen when we're little kids also happen when we're grown adults or seniors. So that's all really full life circle, right? It's a full circle. But anyways, the let them theory, I think, is really important. And I think that let me part is super important. And that's chapter 13, which is the next chapter, is like how do you use the let me theory rather than the let them theory with your friendships that might be fading. And I really love how Mel writes and talks and teaches, and her podcasts are amazing because it's very realistic, real, which I love when people are real, and I think it's a lot more easy to understand. And I try and do that with my podcast too, because when you're using all these fancy words and talking, like way above everyone else, it's really hard to understand and learn. So that's one of the things I do try and do in these podcasts, is just keep it real and hopefully help somebody. And if you haven't read the book, I highly recommend it. So that's where I'm going to leave that, but I'm going to do, what am I going to do today? I will do, I think, gratitude exercise, the happiness journal that I have. I'll just remind you of those steps, and then I'll just do a numerology pull at the very end, and then I need to head out because I need to hike, and the rain has stopped, so that's nice. And then I have an appointment today, so I probably need to get going. So for the gratefulness, I'm just going to read a quote. Let's see. It's a funny thing about life. Once you begin to take note of the things you are grateful for, you begin to lose sight of the things that you lack. By Germany Kent. Love that one. And then the next one is, I would maintain that thanks are the highest form of thought, and that gratitude is happiness doubled by wonder. By G.K. Chesterton. And then hit this journal exercise. So thanks is the highest form of thought, and gratitude is the happiness doubled by wonder. So yeah, it definitely helps with happiness, and it helps with depression as well. So a quality of one of my closest friends that I absolutely love is the first journal exercise. Question. What I appreciate most about this moment right now? What do you appreciate the most about this very moment? An opportunity I have today that I only dreamt of having previously. Something about me that's worth celebrating. And the quote is, my capacity for joy is limitless. My potential for love is infinite. One of my students said something about infinity yesterday. And it's like, no, we would be sleeping over all weekend if that was the case. And we can't live here. But anyways. Okay, I'm just going to read the quick, the Happiness Looks Gorgeous on You, a journal for inspiring happiness that I got at Marshall's, just to remind you to do a little bit of happiness journaling. So write a happiness affirmation for yourself, one that's just for today, and remind yourself of it in stressful moments. So that might be like, I am caring, I am kind, I am a good friend, since we just talked about friendships. I'm an amazing friend. I listen, I support, I help. The next one is share happiness. Write down a compliment that you'd like to give someone today and make sure that you give it to them. And then the next one is commit to finding moments of happiness throughout your day. They don't need to be huge. Small moments have just as much impact. Describe 3 moments of happiness you've experienced today so far. Or you can do this later tonight, maybe. And if you're not up to writing today, draw something, doodle, summon your inner joy. So if you don't feel like writing, sometimes I don't. I just do it in my head. Then just do that. Do it in your head or doodle, whatever works for you. Okay, I'm going to do the numerology poll right now. So I'm just shuffling the cards. And I'm going to ask the universe, what do we need right now? What is going on? What do we need to know? And these are by Michelle Buchanan. Okay, I'm going to reach closer to the back today. 14. Oh no, I got this one recently. One of the last times I did my podcast, so it's another reminder. So 14 is moderation, which is an important word, and I think I know who this is coming from. Okay. This card indicates a need to exercise restraint and self-control in every area of your life. Perhaps you're overeating, drinking too much alcohol, smoking, over-medicating or taking drugs, overspending, exercising excessively, consuming too much sugar or coffee, gambling, or otherwise overindulging or engaging in obsessive or aggressive behavior. If so, this card serves as a gentle and loving reminder that behaviors such as these can delay the manifestation of your dreams. This card also indicates a need to balance your desire for freedom and adventure with your responsibilities, because by honoring your commitments, you will prevent the buildup of karmic debt. By choosing to live as your higher self rather than giving in to your lower tendencies, you align with Source and the intentions of your soul. Everybody has a shadow side that needs to be acknowledged, embraced, and loved. But when you learn to rise above it, you can make your dreams come true. So everybody has a shadow side that needs to be acknowledged, embraced, and loved. But when you learn to rise above it, you can make your dreams come true. In order to improve your current situation, you are being asked to adjust to and harmonize with the natural rhythm and cycles of your life. Cycles that are encouraging you to exercise temperance and moderation. Have the courage to seek professional or divine assistance if needed. You don't have to go it alone. You can call upon your heavenly helpers for inner strength and courage. And the affirmation is, with temperance and moderation, I create balance in my life. So with temperance and moderation, I create balance in my life. Temperance. Okay. So I feel like that's my father reminding me to use moderation. He just had his birthday, and he would have been 72, I believe, on Thursday was his birthday, October 30th. Anyways, it's been a bit of an emotional week for sure, but just busy. It's busy at school right now too. But I think this is reminding me, and I've already written down on my calendar to take it easy. Definitely tomorrow, take a break, and enjoy my appointment today. And like one of the things I've started to do is put those kind of things in my calendar as like an appointment kind of thing. I learned, from Eddie Milet or Danny Morrell, one of those, that it is important to schedule those things into your life so that it feels like it is something that you have to do rather than just like a luxury, because it is really important to take care of yourself. And I think that I feel like I've been working way too hard lately, so I need to like get off screens a bit today, just enjoy nature, enjoy being mindful, hiking, and maybe do some things for myself rather than working all day. And then tomorrow, Sunday, I would like to have a reset day where I'm not doing much work at all. So that's my intention for the rest of the day and tomorrow. And you never know where life will take me. So hopefully that inspires you to do the same if you need that. And if not, maybe it inspires you to work harder today. Whatever you need right now. So have an amazing rest of your weekend. Stay calm, cool, serene. And I'll see you next time.